Kaya from Brrraaains A Head-Banging Life with another episode of The Dead Pit. This is where our illustrious guests or guests choose 5 things from the world of gaming, horror and heavy metal to throw into the pit of ravenous zombies. Should I agree with their choices, in they go where they'll be torn apart and devoured, never to be seen again. Now I'm pleased to welcome Josh Day from UK atmospheric post-metal band The Hope Burden. Josh, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, mate. How you do? How are you?
Yeah, well, as well as can be in these interesting times.
Yeah.
Talking of which, how have you been handling lockdown?
Yeah, all right, actually. Yeah, so I'm pretty much business as usual for me because I can work for my job remotely. So yeah, I'm still keeping busy. I'm still getting my government mandated exercise every day. Yeah, it's all good.
So is that basically what's keeping you busy? The job?
Pretty much, yeah. I'm still working 8 till 5 Monday to Friday. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Obviously, when I got downtime, when I'm not playing PlayStation, I'm going for my walks, and just pretty much it, really.
Presumably, everything Hope Burden's kind of just on hold now.
Kind of, yeah. We've not practiced since lockdown sort of began. Obviously, we've got the new song coming out next week, so. Yes. Hopefully people will stay in and not have an excuse not to listen to it. So
no excuse now. Right now, there's no excuse. You can binge as much as you need.
Exactly. But other than that, we're just sort of chucking together ideas for new songs, really, over Facebook and that. So.
Okay. Yes. It's still there. It's just not completely disappeared. You just can't do the usual things you would do.
Yeah, we can't practice. No, there's no gigs booked at the moment because of lockdown. All the gigs we did have booked were cancelled.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're just sort of in writing mode from each other's houses, really.
Okay. We'll get into a little bit of the single in a bit. Well, get going then with your first nomination. Where are you taking it from?
Okay, from the world of horror.
Okay.
Found footage horror.
Okay.
Get in the bin.
Okay.
There's a couple of exceptions. I will the original Blair Witch Project.
Yep.
Fine, because that's where it started, and a Spanish film called Wreck. They can stick around. The rest of it, out of it.
Everything else,
it's no good. I don't like the way that found footage has sort of come into sort of webcam horror as well with films like Unfriended. I get what they're doing. I get it, but I can't get on board. I sit there and think, I know this is fake. I know you're trying to put all this off as like a real thing, but I'm very aware it's fake. So,
do you go out of your way to avoid them now, or will you still give them a chance?
I avoid them like the plague now. I think I started avoiding them sort of around Paranormal Activity 2.
Oh
so
wow!
Years. I can't stand them. Like especially Paranormal Activity.
Okay, so even the original Paranormal Activity, you didn't enjoy?
Didn't enjoy it at all. I thought it was boring. I know they're trying to pull it off as like a real thing, but it's not, and I can't get past it. I just sort of sit there and think, hey, you're paying these actors to do this. It's a bit cringe to me.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that you're struggling with the disconnect with it, because the whole point of a found footage film is to make it seem more real.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that's the problem I have. It's sort of forced realism. So I just nah.
So I get why the Blair Witch might be separate from everything else, considering its iconic stature from '99. Yeah. Why Wreck though?
It's something a bit different. I don't know what it is, but it's done really well. It sort of feels a bit actiony in places. I know it's sort of zombies and things like that, and I've seen other zombie sort of found footage films. And I just don't cut it, but Wreck is really good. I mean, the sequels not so much, and the American remake is also not very good. But I don't know, Wreck's just got something really good about it.
Oh no, I 100% agree. I mean, this is an easy one. This is definitely going in because I'm in the same boat. I can't stand found footage, but because of the reviews for the site, I still regularly check them out, and. Cool. 1 out of every 10 surprises, and that's quite good. I don't know about you, but would you be more interested in a documentary style found footage? Those types where they pretend it's like documentary footage. Is that something more interesting?
Probably yes. I mean, actually, no, I will tell. Like, I will stick Troll Hunter in the list, but it can stick around as well. Like that one, I really like. It's quite cheesy.
Yeah.
Like I know it's not real. I'm taking it with a pinch of salt. It's quite funny in places, but so yeah, sort of things like that. Like, they can stay. But if you're trying to be a serious found footage horror film, nah.
Yeah. I love it. Everyone always mentions Troll Hunter, and everyone's always so positive about it. I love that, considering it is a foreign language film for our country, and they normally get shuffled off to the side. Well, there you go, 1 for 1.
Cool, excellent.
Right, it's been a grand few years for the Hulk Bird, and let's be honest, a very good few years. Has, at this point, do you think the band taken off more than you expected?
I'd say so, yes. We've got people a lot further out than, as obviously we're based in Oxford. We've got people that listen to us out of Oxford. I mean, like last year we were sending T-shirts to guys in Norway and things like that. And I know we're not the biggest band in the world, but it's good. It feels pretty good to know there's people around the world listening to your music.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all about significant events, and I guess when people notice, I mean, although I'm not out of the country, we're in London, and we obviously, through Bloodstock, that's how we got to know you guys and stuff like that. And it seemed like you kind of went quiet for a while, but now you have, as you already mentioned, a new song. Now, I'm going to try and say this, I don't say it right, but Lamentation, yeah? Yes.
I struggle to say it myself.
Before you came on, I was sitting there reading it going, let me say it over and over again. So it's out on April 17th. I love it. I think it's excellent. It's funny. The track off the EP, Despair, is my favourite of your work. It's the one I listen to. In fact, even in my car at the moment, it was on today on my drive home from work.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just really, really hit me in the right place. This is as good as, if not better. You must be super stoked to get this out there.
Yeah, really. I'm really looking forward to it. It's been a while coming. We've not recorded for quite a while. I would say we had a bit of a quiet patch after Bloodstock because we thought we will knuckle down, we will write some songs. But obviously life gets in the way. We're all working full time. Like our drummer's a dad. It's just one of those things. It's been a long time coming, but really, really looking forward to getting it out next Friday.
Yeah. Have you had much feedback at this stage?
A couple of people. It's been pretty good what we've had back so far. No one's straight up told us they hated it, so that's always a good sign.
I can't. For me, it's one of those things that would be flabbergasting for anyone to hate it. It's that. Yeah. So, what's your second nomination?
Okay. I'm gonna go for gaming for this one. Paid for DLC.
Right. All, yeah.
Pretty much all of it. Yeah. I mean, if it's like a story add-on, that pisses me off because it's obviously the developers have obviously got that ready. Stick it in the game. Like I don't like prime example of that one. Spider-Man on the PS4 when that came out a couple of years ago. Brilliant game. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, for an extra 15 quid you can get this extra couple of levels. Like, nah, bullshit. Like you've got like it's money grabbing. I mean, I get, and it's like the whole pay to win sort of thing, isn't it? I don't want to pay to get better guns in. For example, when Star Wars Battlefront 2 came out a couple of years ago, and that whole shit show. Like, I don't want to pay my money that I go out and work hard for just to get a slightly better gun to make myself a little bit better. Like, no, I'd rather just play the game.
So what about, say story DLC that comes 6 months after the game's release? Are you a little bit more forgiving on that?
Not massively, no, because I know I know it's ready. Like, there's no way that they could stick something probably be as polished as the original game out in 6 months. It's just I don't see it being possible. I know there's teams of people working on it, but no, I know you've got it ready. I know they're holding it back for monetary reasons. It does my head in.
It's the norm now. It's been the norm for how long? Yeah, I mean,
exactly. This is the thing. Like, I think I won't lie, I did pay for the Spider-Man DLC. about it, but I paid for it. But yeah, just it does my head in because you can't get many games these days that doesn't have it. I mean, even like the latest Call of Duty's got it in now. You can buy all the coins to get the new stuff and the battle passes, story DLC for loads of games. It's not for me. I'd rather spend my 50 quid on my game and play it.
Yeah, it's near impossible now to just spend your 50 quid, as you say, and that is it, and that's all you get, basically, and that's more than enough. It's such a rare thing that it's almost praiseworthy when you do just get a complete experience.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Exactly.
It's so wide-ranging. What about mobile gaming? Are you a mobile gamer?
To an extent, not massively. I tend to download a lot of games, playing for about 5 minutes, going, "Oh, that's crap."
Yeah.
Delete that. So not really. No, I don't think I've played a decent mobile game in a long time. When I played a couple called Monument Valley.
Oh yeah.
Puzzle games. They're pretty good. I paid for those because I got the first one for free somehow. Really liked that, so I thought, oh no, I'll pay the second one. It's only like £1.50. That's cheaper than a pint. So
yeah, that's easy money spent. So off the top of your head, can you think of the most egregious DLC you've ever paid for, that you have paid for and had that massive buyer's remorse?
I mean, I can think of one entire game where I had that.
Oh, okay, yeah, I want to know.
No Man's Sky, when that first came out. I properly bought into the hype with that game. Pre-ordered it like 6 months in advance. It came through, and I traded it in within a week.
Oh.
Looking back now, I've seen what they've done to it. I can see they've made it a good game. It's got going on for it. But at the time, I was just like, "What is this shit?" Like,
I remember the promises. I remember the suggested content. And yeah, that was a shocker, absolute shocker.
Yeah.
Listen, this goes in there, of course it does. What I will happily pay certain DLC money for story editions. I think the last one I paid for was Jurassic Park, the strategy one. You know.
Okay. Yeah.
Jurassic World, that one, the strategy game. That had a couple of 3 story DLCs, and because I was so addicted to that, it kind of felt like, yep, they've earned it almost, you know.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you know, this is so wide-ranging, from horse armor back in the Elder Scrolls day to pay-to-win stuff, and even things as good. A game like Red Dead Redemption 2 with a massive story, you get to its multiplayer side, and it's a shit-show of DLC.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
2 for 2. There you go, doing well. Tell us a little bit about the lyrical themes. Are there any, I suppose, behind the track, and what kind of inspired it?
So yeah, for this one, there is a bit of a lyrical theme. So a few years ago, I lost my gran. It hit me really, really hard. Fell into a bit of a depression over it. And the lyrics sort of came from that. It was sort of like the beginning of the song is sort of me falling into the sort of depression, the darkness of it all, and then sort of thinking like, no, how would my gran feel if I did do something stupid to myself? And sort of keeping that in my mind while I sort of carried on and brought myself out of it, really. That's the sort of main lyrical theme to it. So it's a pretty personal one for me.
Oh, wow. Terribly sorry for your loss. I really am. Your vocals are fantastic. They're strong, they're dark, and one of the things, and I guess it's why I've been so attracted to the Hulk Burden, is you've also got some massive emotional range. How much work do you have to put in to get that across?
It's a fair amount. I mean, I sort of, the way we write things, the musical element of the track always comes first, and then I'll then take it away. I'll listen to it, think of lyrics, and then put it to that. So I'll know where a bit needs like a really, really sort of passionate scream, or if there's like a really dirty, sludgy bit, I'm gonna have to go for the lows. Like it does take a lot of sort of trial and error, and then I'll then take that to a practice. We'll play it, see what the lads think, and quite often they'll be like, "Oh no, why don't you stick a higher pitch scream there, or stick a low there? Try a different scream there." So there's a lot of work that goes into it. It's not just bollocks, I'll scream that. Like,
well, yeah, because it's not your traditional like you're not just screaming. You say, "Oh, I'll do a scream here and I'll scream there," but it's not like that, because that creates a picture, I think, in people's head when they hear a combination of post metal and say a screaming, and then they start going, "Okay, is it like Death Heaven? Is it like Mole? Is it like Ghost Bath?"
Yeah.
And it's not like any of them. It's a very unique style, particularly when I think back to the EP. I remember when I first heard it, I thought it gives me this impression almost like you're on the other side of the room. There's the band and you're here.
Yes, we've tried ways of recording like that as well. Like, actually, with this song, some of the passion in it, we literally had an ambient mic in the room, and I just stuck the headphones on and went at it.
Works wonderfully. It's certainly almost makes you unique.
Oh, cool! Thank you. I appreciate that, because it's something we've always talked about. We like to call them distant vocals in the band, just because that's the best way to describe it. It sounds like I'm far away.
Yeah.
But that's because we don't really want the vocals to overpower the music, because I know there's loads of bands where we'll turn the vocals really far up in the mix, and you can't hear the guitars, can't hear the bass, can't hear the drums. And it's all about the vocals, and we're not about that. We're not about that life at all. So
you guys have nailed that balance. I'm amazed that you have, like, it's not an accident. This is a planned thing. It's like, okay, I love that. Your third nomination then.
Okay, I'm going to the world of metal now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Crowd killing.
Explain that.
So when you obviously, I know you get you get moshing, you get headbangers, and like slam dancers, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So there's certain slam dancers who I've seen them online. I've been on the receiving end of it, where they are out to hurt the crowd around them, like lots of sort of elbows back like that, kicks backwards, wankers, mate. That's basically what it is. Like, it's just they've come out to a show at Billy Big Bollocks, and to hurt someone.
Yep.
And I've got no time for it. Absolutely zero time for it. I've been on the receiving end of it. My partner's been kicked before by people in the crowd, and nah. And when you start back on them to say, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing?" They get nasty, like you're in the wrong. It's like, no, you're the wanker in this situation. Wind your neck in.
Absolutely. It's amazing that you're bringing this one to the table, because the last person, literally this time last night, had the exact same one.
Great minds.
I firsthand witnessed it. The opening of a pit, so to speak, so one guy can effectively do his karate moves while also trying to hit the people who are just trying to watch. You call it crowd killers. And
yes.
For me and my brother, we were at it, and we stood there and we were saying, as a band, they must hate it, right? Because suddenly there's just an open floor. No one's daring to go near it because they don't want to get hit. It can't be like, then discourage it, right?
That's the thing. It's no good. Thankfully, like, we're not the sort of band that will ever really have a crowd killer. But I've been to see plenty of other bands. Like, I think the last time I saw a really bad one was me and my best mate went to go see Carnifex in London a few years ago, and he took a kick to the nads. Like, he went down like a sack of shit, lost his pint, but when he got me, he was like, "Who did that?" And we pointed to each other, "That's prick over here." And the guy was just like, "What? And what, mate? I didn't do anything." And we're like, "Well, you clearly did. You're out here to hurt people.
Yeah.
We're trying to have a good time, mate. Stop it."
Yeah, like it's an excuse. Well, it's a metal show and it's a pit. This is what happens.
People who go out into pits to deliberately hurt people, nah, it's not kosher. Like, just get out.
Well, thankfully, the majority know the score with a pit, which is, keep it safe. You go down, you pick them up. So it is few and far between. And I'll imagine you're the same. I've kind of got to my age now and enough gigs where I now know if I'm going to see a certain band, I know where to stand and what to do. Yeah. Yes, of course.
My pitting days are long over.
Yeah, this goes in absolutely. It's a scourge of the pits and metal shows. So at the start, you said you've been busy writing and so on, and now how you're doing it, sending each other things. What's kind of on the cards for the remainder of 2020?
Okay, so we're sort of getting the finishing ideas for another song down now. Like, we've got we've got the parts. We're just trying to sort of link them together to make a song. Yeah, so we could probably try and get to the studio again. Well, obviously, apocalypse depending.
Yep.
So yeah, try and get that out. Gig. We want a gig where and when we can. When this is all done, I know that's probably be quite difficult because I think there's going to be a lot of bands in our position wanting to get out there and do their thing. And we are more than likely going to get some merch done as well. Just get some more bits and pieces out there because we did have some shirts last year. They all went pretty sharpish, so we do need to get some more out there as well. So
yes,
we can
you
get
do.
That.
Yes, you do. I've been trying to get hold of a T-shirt for a while now, and it's been sold out. So yeah,
they went really quickly. I think we had the first gig we had of them. We played in Birmingham, and most of them went that night, which was great.
Yeah.
And then we've sold a few online since then as well. Yeah, there is more coming, so don't worry.
So are you kind of just following the formula now of going to release, say, singles here and there with let's see what happens with a bigger record?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, it's as I said, because we're all working full time and we're all we've all got like rent to pay. Phil's got a little lad, so it's more of a money sort of thing, really. We can't really. It's difficult to afford to go in and record.
Yeah.
As most bands will probably find it. So what really helped us this time around was selling out all the merch.
Yeah.
That was a really big help to actually getting us in the studio to record this song. So I guess if this one goes well, and when the next round of shirts go well, we'll probably do another song and then see what happens from there. So it'd be good to maybe do an EP next year, maybe. Obviously financially providing we can. But at the moment, it's probably going to be maybe 1-2 at a push songs this year.
That's better than nothing. And that's exactly. It, yeah. And as long as you're active on the social media stuff, people won't forget you.
Yeah. That's the point, yeah.
Sounds like a good plan to me. I'm just happy there'll be the music, so it's good. What's your fourth nomination then? Okay,
going to go back to films. So, films about possessions.
I feel like you've been like wearing a test, and you keep looking at my answers.
Yes, obviously, again, we'll take The Exorcist out of this because that's the classic, that's the granddaddy of them all. But I have never seen a decent film about possessions. Every single one seems to follow the same formula, like, oh dear, this teenage girl's acting a bit funny, let's call the Vatican, let's get priest in, and then, oh no, it's all gone a bit tits up. But like, it's just none of it works. Like I can't think of a decent one. There's so many on Netflix as well.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I always fall into the trap, like, oh, maybe that one will be good. It never is. Like, it never is.
Then I got to ask you, a couple of years ago, maybe a year, 2 years ago, a film, when it was on Netflix, was doing the rounds as the most scariest new possession horror, and everyone was banging on about it. Spanish one, Veronica.
Yes, shite, mate.
Am I right? Absolute shite.
Absolute.
I feel exactly the same about possession horror. I've always thought horror goes in cycles, where for a certain period something gets bummed. We do the slasher stuff, we do the zombies, we've done torture porn we had for a good few years, and then we hit found footage followed by possession movies.
Yeah.
But possession movies aren't going away. They've been like the cycle's ended, yet they're still coming out.
This is the thing, like, and every now and again you get one that's got like a decent actor in it. I mean, quite a few years ago now, there was one called The Right, I think it was called, and it had Anthony Hopkins in it. And I thought, oh, brilliant! No, he's a good actor. He's fucking Hannibal Lecter, for God's sake. It's got to be really good. Shit, absolute shit. None of them are good.
So you said put The Exorcist to the side because it's a classic. Do you like The Exorcist though?
Do you know what? If I had to give it a rating out of 10, 5. Like, I can imagine, like, if I was this age when it first came out, I'd think, fuck, that's a bit much, isn't it? But it's very of its time. I didn't see it until maybe I was 21. And I've grown up with shit like Scream and things like that, which are like, Scream's a bit more realistic, because like that sort of thing could happen. It's a killer. Like, killers are out there.
Yeah.
Watching The Exorcist and watching Linda Blair's head spin around 360 while green shit's coming out of her, like, cool, right, yeah, nice one, boys. I see what you're doing, but it's not freaking me out.
It is one of those things where you kind of wish you could go back in time to that specific moment when it first came out and experience it as everybody else did.
Yeah, exactly that.
We don't really have that luxury. I'm taking a punt at my head of what your rough age is. And I think we're similar ages. We don't have the luxury of this nowadays because we don't get many in the way of what you'd call modern classics.
No, not at all.
Certainly nothing that's going to stand the test of time.
That's it. I mean, like, horror, there's so many horror films that come and go. Like, it's difficult, and they're all, as you said, they're all like following the same like trend at that point. I can't remember the last like properly good horror film I've seen. I mean, I've seen horror films recently. I thought that was all right, like that was worth a watch. But I've never been like, fucking hell, what a film.
Yeah, like, you want to instantly start texting people and saying, check this movie out. Doesn't happen.
No, not at all.
Possession horror, up there alongside found footage is just a thing I try and avoid as well. And actually, probably more than found footage for me. Because with found footage, I always have a sliver of hope. With possession, it's the same thing. Yeah, it goes in. 4 for 4. You know, only one person's got 5 for 5 so far.
I think we're going to get 5 for 5 with my last one, so...
Well, before we get to that, for you, what has been the highlight of the Hope Burden so far? Now, for me, I'd imagine, I'm going to take a guess, it's going to be a certain festival, right?
Little bit, yeah. Yeah, it's got to be, like winning Metal to the Masses last year and playing Bloodstock. That was just incredible. Like, we went into the competition sort of just thinking we'll get a gig, maybe 2 if we're lucky out of it, because it's difficult to find. It's very difficult to find gigs in Oxford. Very, very difficult. So we thought, brilliant, we've got an open door here. Let's play a gig. And then we got through the first round. We were like, cool, we've got another gig. This is fine. Then we got through that round, and I was like, okay, fucking hell, this is getting a bit strange now. Then we got through the quarterfinals, and I was like, all right, someone's taking the piss now. Like, this is clearly this ain't happening. But yeah, it was incredible. But I was like, the final was different. It was very different because we didn't actually play the final in Oxford, which was marred by all sorts of problems. We had a few bands play, and then the band before us were playing, and all of the power in Oxford City Centre went down.
Of course, I remember this.
Yeah, so we ended up playing in Northampton about 2 weeks later. Outside stage, we played. It was during the heat wave last sort of June. 30-degree heat. It was rank. Like it was a tough gig to play. But yeah, so then Simon from Bloodstock thought we were good enough to play, so that was good. And yeah, the actual day itself was just mad, absolutely mad. Like, I just sort of kept having to pinch myself.
We when we spoke to you guys at the festival with the interview, then one of the things we were kind of saying to the New Blood bands particularly was like, it's over so quick. When you reflect on it, does it even feel real?
Not really, no. I mean, like, it didn't really feel real until one of my really good mates' brothers was there, and he sent me a video of us, and I was like, fucking hell, no, I was actually on that stage. I was actually playing that. There was actually a decent amount of people watching us. It was absolutely mad, because like we were walking around and then we were seeing people from other bands and stuff, and I was just like, fucking hell, like there's people I know, and I'm just walking past their tour bus and no one's actually questioning my motives. Like,
you're not being tackled to the ground by security.
I was actually with my wristband light, and I'm meant to be here, mate. It's cool. I'm with the band sort of situation. But yeah, it was insane. And I still can't get my head around it. I mean, every now and again, I sort of go back to watch the footage we got filmed while we were there, the professional stuff. And I'm like, shit, that was a good day. Yeah.
Yeah. It was arguably my biggest regret of Bloodstock, that I couldn't see you. The worst thing was, I can't remember who in the band came. I was using the toilet and came, stood next to me and said, "Oh, Carl, did you see the set?" I was like, I couldn't. We had interview commitments. So I did, though. I did send my son and told him to video it for me. So we did get it that way.
Excellent. All the footage is on YouTube, so feel free to sit down.
It's all there now. Well, the hope is as well, once... because you've not... Have you been to London?
We haven't, no. We've had a couple of offers, but it's always sort of fallen through because we've had prior commitments outside of the band and stuff. So, but it's on one of the plates. We're desperate, desperate. So, if anybody's watching this and knows anybody they can put us in touch with, please do.
Okay. What's for you then the biggest stumbling block for the Hulk Burden to kind of get yourself out there and known within the scene?
I think that the sort of band we are, it's quite a burden, if you pardon fun. Because let's face it, post metal is not the biggest genre. Mm-hmm. And if you say to people like what sort of band you are, they're like, half the people go, "What the fuck's post metal?" Yeah. The other half would be like, "Nah, mate, not interested. If you're not deathcore, if you're not slam, like, I'm out."
Yeah.
So yeah, that's quite a difficult. So it's a bit of a challenge. Like, it's good to actually try and win people over. Obviously, we've had a few promoters take chances on us, and it's paid off for us. I hope it's paid off for them in a way. Yeah. So that's always good. But yeah, it's just being a post metal band is quite challenging, especially around Oxford, because the main sort of bands around here are sort of stoner, sort of doom bands. I mean, we can fit in the doom bracket quite nicely with some of our stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of the bands around here are stoner bands, and we don't do it for the crowds really. It's difficult. Oxford used to have a really, really, really good scene about 10 years ago, where any band, no matter what sort of genre you were, you could rock up and you'd have a good gig. But now it's a real struggle.
Oh wow, that's a shame. I get what you're saying. I mean, post metal just happens to be one of my personal favourite styles of music. In the last couple of years, a number of bands from that style, and I hate having to try and describe it to someone. It's just what the hell.
I'm the same. Like I've got people at my work that don't really get metal. Obviously, like in most offices, you get that, and you say to them what sort of band you're in. You'll say post metal, and they'll go, "Oh, metal is just shouting." I'm like, "No, it's shouting, but there's pretty bits." Like, describe it.
You might feel a little tearful if you hear it. It's a little bit more than that.
That's it. It's not just people making noise for the sake of making noise. Like, we're not a grindcore band. Like,
no, absolutely. I just like to say and keep it simple. It's got depth, and you might feel something listening to it. Not that like you can enjoy slam and deathcore and all that and feel something, but for me, there's quite a gulf.
No, I know what you mean. I feel exactly the same way. Because before I was in Hopeburn, and I've been in metal bands since I was 15, 16, and we've always been metal, just sort of metal. Like the last band I was in was sort of Black Dahlia Murder-esque.
Oh yeah.
And then obviously I've been listening to post metal since I heard the first Devil Soldier's Soul album in like 2006, whenever it was. And since then, I've been like, oh, I'd love to be in a band like that. And then obviously, Hope Burden came along, and I was like, yes, please, I'll have some of that.
Yeah, perfect. All right, what's your last nomination then?
Okay, and this is going to be a 5 for 5. People that film the entire gig on their phone.
Boom. Yep.
Like, just stand there with their phone in front of you, so you're watching it for a fucking tiny screen. No. It takes all of my self-restraint not to slap their phone out their hand. Mm-hmm. I mean, I get it. I take the odd picture at a gig, because I like to take a picture.
Yeah.
But I don't stand there like.
Yeah, exactly that.
For half an hour, like that, mouth agape, just not having it. I mean, it does my Sweden. Me and my partner went to go see Slipknot in Amsterdam back in January, and the guy in front of us just the whole fucking gig. Obviously, Slipknot, it's an hour and a half set at least. Just he didn't move. Just
Oh, really? Wow.
and I was like, no, no one wants to watch your shitty bootleg video on YouTube, mate. Like.
That's what it must be, because it really puzzles me. I understand the whole, I'm going to capture the first, I'm going to capture a couple of minutes so I can show my mates afterwards and whatever. But the whole gig.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I could feel if you're going to see a big band like Slipknot or Rammstein or someone like that, and you take a little video of like some pyro or something like that, or the intro of the set, I get it. But if you're like 40 minutes in, you've not moved your bloody phone, like, no, it's just. You're a knob, get out. Like,
yeah. I mean, I absolutely despise it, to the point where like I'll be very aware. I'm not so much. I don't want to get mad at people, but one memory sticks out, and it was Volbeat at the Roundhouse in Camden, London, and they came out on stage, and I swear to God, it was a sea of phones.
Yes.
And it's just like, you go, what the hell? And that does. It's all of it. Did you agree then? I guess. Going back last year, Perfect Circle, you know, when they were doing their round of shows and they were making it very clear phones were banned.
I do and I don't. I feel I get why they're doing it, and I agree for the reasons why they're doing it, but I do think that is also a little bit extreme. Like, you ban it. I mean, like, I know there's been gigs in the States where they put their phones in like those pouches which can only unlock in certain places.
Oh yeah.
That seems a bit extreme. Like, the way I think about it, it's for a proper pessimistic sort of thing. What if there's an emergency? Like, I don't want to have to piss off fun. I'm like, can you unlock my bag, please, so I can call my mum or something like that. But yeah, I can see why they did it though, because I'd be the same if I was on stage and all I saw was just a sea of people holding their phone up, like pointing at me. I'd be like, just enjoy the gig, mate.
Yeah.
Like, come on. So. I think it just needs people to have self-restraint.
Yes, self-restraint, that is what it's needed, but it doesn't always seem like the case. I was at that Perfect Circle gig at Brixton, and I wasn't paying attention to the phone. I always remember one thing was a guy near to my right pulled his phone out and was trying to hide it, took a photo, and then I put it in, and I was thinking, wow, you think he's going to get like arrested or something?
I don't want to mess with Maynard though. He's unhinged.
Of course, I 100% agree. 5 for 5. Well done.
Thank you.
Great choices. Absolutely love them. Really, really well put as well. Before you go, then, last thing, and this is for you to say, guess to the fans. What at this stage do you think you would ask fans of the Hulk Burden to do to support you? What can they do?
Definitely listen to the song when it comes out next week. That'd be the top thing. Chuck us a like on Facebook. That's always good because we do try and keep posting on there a lot. And we've also give us a follow on Instagram. We post on there quite a lot as well. So just to keep up to date with us, really, that'd be the best thing. Just to
And the single's going to be available on everything.
Everything, literally, from Spotify, Apple Music. Deezer, if anyone uses that. It was an option. That's it. Yeah, it was an option. I took it. It's going to be everywhere from midnight on the 17th.
Fantastic. Can't wait. Josh, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon and help us out over there. That's patreon.com/GBHBL, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?